Hey mama, if you're listening to this, you might be carrying a secret that feels too heavy to speak out loud. You look like you got it all together, you serve at church, maybe you even lead a Bible study. You smile when you drop off the kids, but no one sees the other side of you, the one that comes out behind closed doors. At home, you are a completely different person. You yell, you explode, you scream at your kids, sometimes in their face. You tell them to shut up. You grab them too harshly. You throw things across the room. You smack them in anger, twist their ears, spank them in rage, and immediately after, you are hit with a tidal wave of shame. You cry alone in your room and you whisper, "God, what is wrong with me?" You feel scared and disgusted by your own reactions. You're terrified that someone might find out. You wonder if your kids would be better off without you. You feel unworthy, broken, and too far gone to be redeemed. You try to fix this on your own. You listen to podcasts, parenting books, download freebies, but nothing changes. You keep falling back into the same patterns, and it feels like you are stuck in a cycle that you can't break. You don't trust yourself anymore, and if you're honest, you are afraid of who you become. But here's the truth, Mama. You are not beyond hope. You're not alone, and with God's help and the right support, you can change. I'm Elizabeth, a mom of 4 and an anger management coach for Christian moms. And inside my Calm Christian Mom coaching program, I guide women just like you through a powerful transformation. This isn't shallow behavior management. We go deep. We address your triggers, your stress, your mindset, your nervous system, and the spiritual root behind your patterns. We invite God into every layer and walk hand in hand towards healing. In just 12 weeks, you can become a completely different mom, unrecognizable. One who leads with patience, not panic. One whose children feel emotionally safe around her. One who cultivates peace. This summer, I'm offering a Calm Mama strategy session, a powerful 15-minute one-on-one coaching session designed to help you uncover the root of your anger and receive spiritual, emotional, and practical support. It's your chance to experience what coaching is like with me before diving deeper into ongoing support. If we both feel like the full program is the next right step, we can talk about what that looks like for you. You don't have to keep living like this. Your family is worth healing, and so are you. Use the link in the show notes to book the Calm Mama strategy session. Hello, beautiful friend. How are you today? How are you doing? How are you doing mentally? How are you doing spiritually? How are you doing emotionally? How are you? Maybe nobody asked you that in a long time, but I truly do care for you. Do you know that before I record these episodes, I sit down and pray? I pray for God to give me wisdom, to say the right thing and say it in the right way, for me to give value to you, and for me to support you in the best way that I know. My friend, today I want to give you an episode about how to become a calm Christian mom. I know that many moms just try hard. They say, "I'll just try harder. It will just get better. I'm trying my best. I'm trying so hard." I wanted to share with you a little bit more about my journey. I did not get here overnight. I don't teach on anger because it's easy for me and I can manage it so easily and I never get angry and all the things. I teach this because it's hard and I have to practice what I teach every single day. And I have to implement the things that I teach you in my life on a regular basis. It's not easy for me to just be calm and patient. It does not come naturally, and that's part of our sinful nature. That's not something that just comes naturally to us as humans. Some personalities are more patient than others, but for me, it doesn't come naturally. I naturally want to raise my voice. I naturally want to be snappy and rude and disrespectful when my kids are not listening, when I'm not getting my own way. it's not natural for me to just be calm and patient and grounded. Maybe it sounds like that right now on my podcast because, right now I'm having my moment. My kids are at school, my toddler is down for a nap, and I'm doing what I love, and I'm having a good moment right now, and I'm talking to you, but it does not come to me naturally. It's hard for me. It is hard for me to remain calm and regulated and patient and be the mom that I desire to be and the one that God is calling me to be, right? And I want to let you know that it takes time and it takes multiple steps to get where I am today. On my journey, when I became a mom, I didn't really struggle with anger issues when I had my first kid, but when I had my second and he was colic, I've shared this on other podcasts, and I'm pretty sure I've shared here at some point, but I'll share it with you again. But I had an episode with my son when my newborn finally fell asleep after hours of crying. I put him in the swing, and my 3-year-old came up to him, and he just picked up his little hand, and he bit him. Taking the fact that I was momming by myself for a while, my husband was at work, I was dealing with a screaming baby, lots of stress, right? Like when you have a screaming baby, my needs were unmet. I'm an introvert. I haven't had any time to refill my cup. Finally got the baby to calm down, and then my toddler wakes him up. And I reacted in rage. That was my first time I remember having a rage moment where I freaked out. I screamed at my 3-year-old. I said, "What did you just do? Why?" And I hurt him physically. I hurt him, and right away, this flood of shame and guilt that just flooded over me. What is wrong with me? What did I just do? Why did I hurt my kid? How could I have done that? Like, what's wrong with me? That's not what I wanted to do. I know I'm frustrated. I know I feel mad, but I don't want to hurt my kid. And that was my first moment where I truly felt like rage took over me. Now I know what was the root of that. I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling stressed. I had unmet needs. I felt unsupported. Well, because my husband was at work and he couldn't be, and I felt like stretched too thin. I was multitasking between 2 kids. I had a crying baby. If anybody had a colic baby, you know the amount of stress that just creates on your brain. We're not designed to just keep hearing a crying baby. That's so much stress. Just combine all of that, lack of sleep, everything. And it was just like the little thing that just pushed me over the edge. And as I became a mom of multiples and had my third, I started to notice more of these moments, especially with my third boy. He was a little Curious George on steroids. He would get into everything. He would just constantly keep me on my toes when he turned 2. And lots of 2-year-olds are busy, but some of the techniques I was using with my other two boys to parent were not working with him. And he would just constantly get me to the point of reacting and yelling and feeling like I'm saying and doing things that are hurtful, regretful, and sinful, really. And a friend of mine suggested for me to go to counseling, and I did. I did go to parenting counseling. It was not faith-based, but it was a stepping stone for me to learn a lot of the things that I teach today about the way our brain is wired, how our emotions work in our brain. What's the root of that? Why we react the way we react, how to rewire our brain and do things differently, how to, bring faith into that. That is something I've been doing on my own because I believe you need both. Yes, you need the psychology things and the strategy and the tools and the implementation, but you also need God's help. You can only do so much on your own strength. And so in my coaching program, in my coaching container, I do teach moms to lean on God. I do teach moms to regularly connect with God and build that relationship with Him. But what happened is when I started trying to implement all the parenting strategies, maybe you've been there, all the gentle parenting, the respectful, connective parenting, you read. Let's say you see reels on Instagram. They're like, okay, if your child does this, you can do this, and respond this way, and it's going to help, or you see posts about it, or you've maybe even taken trainings or bought books and you've read and you're like, okay, awesome, I'm going to do this. The problem is if you're stressed out, overwhelmed, running on empty, you're burned out, you have unmet needs, in the heat of the moment, you get triggered. The part of the brain that helps you remember all these tools is shut off, and you go back to your old ingrained ways of doing things the way you have been for years. It's automatic. It just happens, and you overreact. And it's not because you're a bad mom. It's not because you're just this terrible human. It's because there's so much stress your brain was under in that moment. You could not access the part of the brain that helps you remember the tools and the skills. And in my coaching program, I teach you how to do that. There's an actual step-by-step plan and process that helps you remain calm and collected. If you're just trying to do things differently in the heat of the moment and it's not working, there's a reason for it. You're too stressed out. Like your brain is under too much stress. In my program, I teach you a lot of proactive things. I don't just come in and teach you all the tools. We start with all the proactive stuff to set you up for success. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. How to become a calm Christian mom. So it's not just like, I'll just decide I'm not going to scream anymore. I'm just going to decide that I'm just going to be calm and patient. I just made that decision and I'm never going to, raise my voice again. That maybe is a great start. The problem is, again, when you're under stress, you overreact in ways that are ingrained in your brain. And that's just the way we're wired. And we have these automatic waves of pathways that literally, like in order to respond differently, create a new way of responding, you need to like walk a new pathway in your brain and create a new way. And it is so much harder. It's 1,000 times harder, I truly believe, to react or respond positively. Respond positively to your children when you're stressed out and overwhelmed and running on empty and you have unmet needs and you stretch too thin. Like, it just feels 1,000 times harder. I promise you that. So what happened with me is when I started trying to implement the tools I was learning in counseling for parenting, I felt like I was failing constantly. I kept trying to respond to my son in appropriate ways, but I would just get triggered. And when I got triggered, what happens is your thinking brain shuts off and you react in old ways that you have been doing before. And you raise your voice and you threaten and maybe you throw things or maybe you just hurt your child in anger and rage. And I just could not implement anything I could learn, like actionably at home. It sounded great in theory. In the heat of the moment, I'm too triggered and I cannot respond in a positive way. I can maybe for a short period of time, and then I just get triggered so much and I can't remain regulated. And I felt like I was constantly failing. I knew I did not want to parent the old way. I was doing things with lots of punishments and threats and just spanking and all the things. I knew I wanted to have a connection with my child. I wanted my kids to listen because we have a connection and they want to listen to me and get down on their level. And I wanted to respond in a way that I'm truly proud of. Like when I would look back and be like, yes, this was a tough moment, but I responded with God's help in a way that I'm truly proud of. If somebody else was watching me through my window, I wouldn't feel ashamed or guilty of how I reacted or responded in that way because I know exactly what I'm going to do. I have a plan and I have rehearsed it and I practiced it and I journaled about it and I talked about it. And anyways, the thing is, it takes practice. You need a lot of practice. Actually, studies have shown you need about 500 to 1,000 times of intentional practice of responding a new way in order for it to become a new automatic, where you don't have to try. It just happens. And I tell you, like, your kids give you plenty of those moments. There's no lack of that, of moments of practice. And I know that for me, there are certain specific moments that now I don't have to think hard. I just automatically respond positively. Yes, there are still moments where I lose my cool and I raise my voice and I get triggered and I react in ways that I know are wrong and sinful. And then, there's a repair process. But I know for the most part, with all the tools that I've learned, is that it's not an overnight thing. And that's why I created a program, not just a course that you do self-paced, because guess what happens when you buy a course? You're very unlikely to actually finish it and implement it and see transformation. Less than 5% of people finish courses and less than 1% implement. taking the fact that you're stressed, overwhelmed, you're stretched too thin, you're doing everything for everyone, what are the chances for you to actually finish that course? You know what helped me during that journey? I had a counselor that I was seeing every single week. She was my support system. She was the one that was guiding me and redirecting me and challenging my thinking process and mindset. And then I also started implementing healthy habits. And that is a part of the things that I do teach in my coaching program. When I started going to counseling, I ended up shortly after buying a program by an influencer. The program is called Unburdened. And that program really taught me how to change my perspective and mindset and to support myself, how to change my habits, routines, structure of the day to really support my well-being, how to delegate without guilt. And anyways, what that was really helpful was that I changed the way I was doing things. I started to proactively get up in the mornings. Before my kids, I started to implement healthy habits that calm my nervous system proactively, not waiting until things were just chaotic. The problem with that is if you don't have accountability, it is really, 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 really hard to create new habits and sustain them. If you don't have support and accountability, it's so much harder to start a new habit. Think about all these new habits that you've tried to start in the past and how long did you stick with them. I actually had to ask someone to keep me accountable. A friend of mine that would get up really early in the mornings, that's just the way she is. I said, hey, can you text me every morning? Say, hey, are you up at this time? And just to make sure. And for a whole month, she did keep me accountable. And then I had my counselor, weekly sessions, and I had my support group from the course that I bought. And just the support through all those things, I was supported. I created support around myself, and I was starting to implement those changes. It is really hard to do this on your own. And that's why you're just falling back again and again and again. You're trying so hard, my friend, and you just feel like you're failing constantly. We're 95% more likely to succeed at something new if we have support and accountability. That's why athletes have coaches. That is why business owners have coaches that are above them. They are supporting themselves because you only know what you know, right? And if you want to move up and you want to get better at something, you need support. You need that guidance. You need that someone to hold your hand and be like, this is the next right thing. This is the next thing you need to work on. It is really hard if you're trying to do this all on your own, especially in motherhood. We are just thrown into it and we are supposed to figure out things as we go. And then we have things that come up and we really, really struggle. And then we tell ourselves, oh, it's not that bad. I'll get over it. Like, things are not that bad. You are more than happy to invest all the means that you have to support your children in whatever struggle they're dealing with. But when it comes to you, oftentimes moms are like, well, it's not that bad. Things are just going to get better. I don't feel worthy enough to spend money on myself. I don't feel like things are that bad. Listen to me. You are so worthy of support. Why? Because you are. You are the daughter of the King. If you're struggling to a point where you feel like your kids are going to hate you, that your relationships are being ruptured with your loved ones, where you go to sleep and you cry, consumed with mom guilt and shame for screaming and yelling at your kids and saying hurtful things, my friend, that is a miserable place to be. You get to do motherhood one time. You don't get to do a do-over, like go back and relive those years when your kids are little. You don't want to look back at your motherhood and then regret the kind of mom you were for your children. I want to look back at my motherhood and be like, you know what? I'm so proud of myself for showing up in the best way that I could for my kids. I'm so proud of investing in my wellness, my mental, emotional, physical wellness, spiritual wellness. I'm so happy that I did that. Why? Because I matter. Because the way I feel spills onto the rest of my family. If I'm struggling, you want it or not, it literally radiates through the home. If you're in a bad place emotionally, think about it. Does that spill onto the rest of the family? What if you don't know how to get out of that? That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you and I can guide you. I literally created a program for you, step-by-step guide for you to step into that mom that you desire to be, that calm, patient, grounded, stable, emotionally stable mom for your kids. My friend, I have the answer for you. I am the answer you've been praying for. I literally feel like God has called me to this. This is part of my calling. I want to invite you into my one-on-one coaching container. I have a few spots left. This is for the mom who is truly ready to do something about this. She is ready to do whatever it takes to make changes. She's so sick and tired of going to sleep consumed with mom shame and guilt and feeling like the relationships that are so important to her are just falling apart because of that anger. Your kids, they mirror everything. They mirror you. And if you want them to learn how to handle their anger well and then have good relationships with others moving forward, it starts with you, my friend. This is generational. This is not just like, oh, you work on yourself. This is stuff that you get to pass on for generations to come. This is something that you get to model to your kids, your spouse, and you get to influence them in how you respond when you are feeling angry, that you are able to do it in a God-honoring way without destroying the relationships that you have. I want to quickly go over what kind of things and topics we cover in my coaching container so you have an idea, because it's not something that you just learn overnight. I have a lot of step-by-step for you. There's a lot of journaling prompts where you get to spend some time on a regular basis reflecting and journaling through. I check in with you. We have weekly calls. I check in with you almost every day, see how you're doing, okay? We're going to understand emotions and behavior. We're going to learn the kind of stress that you're under, how that affects your emotions, how your internal struggles mirror your external behavior. We're going to come up with the version of mom that you desire to be. We're going to learn how to prioritize your needs without guilt, creating a life that supports you in this season of life. Prioritizing you guilt-free. So we'll be auditing your schedule. What are things on your schedule that are not serving you that we need to delegate, release, simplify, say no to? We're going to be focusing on reducing controllable stress in your life to create space for emotional regulation. We're going to learn how to set boundaries. You're going to overcome mental blocks that are holding you back from asking for help so you have more ease in your life. You're going to learn healthy ways to process stress and release challenging emotions. I'll teach you proactive strategies. I'll teach you how to be less triggered just to begin with. Also, what you can do to feel recharged and restored that is truly supportive to you. We're going to learn healthy coping skills when you do get triggered, so you respond in a God-honoring way. I'm going to help you create healthy habits that you can implement regularly on a regular basis to support your emotional wellness. We're going to talk about releasing mom guilt and shame, how to forgive yourself, how to ask for forgiveness. We're going to be learning about expectations, how to adjust expectations of others, and what am I expecting myself to do when others don't meet my expectations. We're going to be learning how to take your negative thoughts captive, okay? We're going to learn how to take control of your thoughts and reframe them in a way that is life-giving and supportive. We're going to learn how to release control of what is not yours to control, which is other people's behaviors and circumstances that are out of your control. This is hard work, my friend, but this is going to change your life. I'm not saying this lightly. This program, it is so transformational. You're going to come out as a completely different person. You, at the end of the program, you're going to become in control of your anger and respond in a God-honoring way. Okay? Anger is a powerful and intense emotion, and it can easily become overwhelming and destructive if it's left unmanaged. Okay? If you keep suppressing that anger, it's eventually going to come out in destructive ways. So in this program, you are going to learn how to actually become a calm and patient mom. It's not just a one thing. It's not just, I pray about it, I read the Bible, and or a little bit of self-care. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot of mindset work. And this is truly going to be so game-changing for you. Imagine a home where there's so much more peace and calm and joy, where you actually enjoy being around your kids. You don't feel constantly triggered by them and pissed off that for their existence, that they're just annoying the heck out of you, that you go to sleep actually feeling like a good mom. You're like, I did it. I had a wonderful day with my kids. I feel proud of the way I handled tough situations. I responded in ways that I don't feel guilty about or ashamed. I didn't mind if somebody else was in my home and saw the way I handled, my situation with the kids. That's where I want to get you. And it's so possible for you. My friend, I truly feel like God has called me to this. And I know, and I pray also, and I'm praying over you as you're listening to this. I'm praying over you as you book a call with me. I'm praying over you as we meet for the call. I'm praying over you when you sign up for my coaching program. My friend, your next step is to book a clarity call with me. There's a link in the show notes. That is the best thing you can do for yourself moving forward, is book that clarity call. And on that call, I'll get to know you a little bit better. And we're going to both decide if my coaching container is the best next step for you. And if it's not, I'll let you know and I'll guide you in the right direction. This is not for everybody. And sometimes moms are not in a season where this is the right fit. But if it is, I will encourage you to step into my one-on-one coaching container. This is my beta round. This is my first round of doing this one-on-one 12-week program. I've had shorter containers, but I decided to make it 12-week because I believe that you need more support than just a few weeks. If you choose to sign up with me right now, until I hit my 5 people, you are going to be getting the lowest price. The lowest price. Moving forward, I will be increasing my prices a lot, and it won't be as much as one-on-one as well. It's going to be more of a group container. Instead of one-on-one coaching calls, it's going to be group coaching calls. And so, my friend, if this is feeling really aligned with you, I want you to pray over it. I truly want you to pray over it, because you get to decide what kind of legacy you get to leave for your kids. It's a choice that you get to make. That is something that God has gifted you, an opportunity. It's your own decision, right? There are things in our lives that, are in God's control, but our decisions, those are the choices we get to make. God gave us free will, okay? You're not taking anything away from your family if you're investing into yourself and the support that you need right now. You're actually gifting your family a calm and patient and present and emotionally stable mom. God has gifted you these children. He gifted you this role as a mom. The way you show up for them really matters. When you enter my coaching container, you go from learning information to transformation and implementation, okay? We're going from just knowing what to do to actually doing what you know. And I'm keeping you accountable, and I'm checking in with you regularly, and I'm answering your questions, and I'm encouraging you and uplifting you when you are succeeding. And guess what? I'm going to have you look for those moments you are succeeding, instead of all the moments that you did fail. And when you did mess up and you did make a mistake, I'm going to be there to lift you up and encourage you. How would it feel like to be supported every step of the way? My friend, I will be helping you doing that work. You don't have to do this all on your own. You'll have my support, you will have God's support, and also, my friend, doing this for you is going to best serve your whole family. Your family will truly thank you. I know maybe this is something new that you've never tried before. Maybe it feels super scary and there's resistance that comes up. I'll tell you what, some of it is just your own mindset, and the other part is the enemy wants to keep you stuck. He doesn't want you to succeed. He wants you to stay exactly where you are. Why? Because that's where he thrives. He wants you to stay in that shame and guilt. He wants you to ruin relationship with your kids. That's what he wants. He wants your marriage to fall apart because of your anger struggles. He wants you there, and you're giving him that power. Or you can take that power back and you say, no more. I will do whatever it takes on my end, and I will invite God in the process, and I will surround myself with support that I need to really solve this problem. My friend, the next step is to book a clarity call with me. The link is in the show notes. This call is going to change your life. My friend, I am so excited for you and your future. It is so possible for you to be a calm, patient Christian mom. I cannot wait to connect with you and get on that Zoom call with you. I'll see you next time. Hey mama, do you find yourself snapping over the smallest things, like spilled milk or constant whining, then feeling horrible afterwards? If you're tired of losing your temper and you want to show up with more patience, I have something for you. It's a free training called How to Be More Patient with Your Kids so you're not screaming over spilled milk. Inside, I'll walk you through 10 simple things you can start doing today to become a calmer, more Christ-like mom, even on the hard days. To get it for free, just leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and send a screenshot to hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. Or if you'd rather skip the wait, you can grab it right now for just $27. The link is in the show notes. Let's help you become the peaceful, patient mom your kids need.